So for journal number 8, I decided to focus on the question, summarize Kant's views on aesthetics. How does it relate to human freedom, art's purpose, objective or universal taste? And then what do you think he means by an aesthetic judgment? Based on other thinkers in this course, what critique would you offer Kant? So to start off, talk about the three features I found that he thinks of aesthetics. So it's the agreeable, the beautiful, and the good. So first, our aesthetic judgments are agreeable and universal. So everything that pleases is attractive, charming, delicious, enjoyable, etc. And everything also gratifies. And secondly, aesthetic judgments are disinterested, which means that pleasure can be found in something because we find it beautiful, not we're not finding it beautiful because we find something pleasurable. And lastly, aesthetic judgments are always good for something and they have a use and they are useful. But that kind of brings me to art's purpose. So the beautiful is understood as purposive. There is a purpose to something, but there isn't any definite purpose. So part of it is, although like works of art may have a purpose behind their production, like the artist intends to create something with a certain meaning in mind, this knowledge of the purpose cannot be known to make an accurate aesthetic judgment. And that's something I think like Plato would disagree with. I think that like Plato's whole thing was that art has to have like a purpose to be morally good, and that's why he wanted to like get rid of all art in the city, if I'm remembering correctly, because he wanted only art that portrayed the morally good and showed what it was to be like a good citizen and stuff. So I think Plato would disagree with this because arts have a purpose and they must be understood in order to judge the art. Yeah. Um, so then aesthetic judgments can only behave as they were an objective thing because aesthetic judgments must be universal apart from the concept, and so they are like reflective judgments. And lastly, this part was kind of confusing to me, the idea of like human freedom and the sublime. So sublimity belongs to human freedom. And so what I got from this section was kind of like objects that are fearful are not feared because it is disinterested, like we recognize like its beauty, I think. So like an example would be he gave was like how God is fearful, but we do not fear God for, I think, God's beauty. I think that's how I interpret it at least. But yeah, so that's kind of sort of an overview, kind of a summary of Kant's aesthetics and the aesthetic judgments